Today we will discuss about the thyroid gland. Before we will discuss the thyroid gland, I will reflect some of the structure of the anterior triangle. First of all, I will reflect the sternocleidomastoid muscles. This one is the inferior belly of digastric. This is the superior belly of digastric, and this is from the sternum to hyoid, sternohyoid. This is the superior belly of homoid. I will reflect on the side of the here you can see there is a from the sternum to the thyroid. This is a sternothyroid muscles, and now you can see this is the thyroid gland. So thyroid gland, it is the endocrine gland situated into the front of the side of the lower part of the neck. It is situated into the lower part of the neck, opposite to the C5 to the T1 vertebra. Anatomical feature, it consists of the two lobes. This is the right lobe, and the opposite side there is a left lobe of the thyroid glands. So, and it is interconnected by the midline by the isthmus. Lateral lobe on right and left lobes each extend from the middle of the thyroid cartilage. Here you can see this is the thyroid cartilage. So it extends from the middle of the thyroid cartilage above to the sixth tracheal ring below. So here this is the trachea, and it is extend below up to the approximate at the sixth tracheal ring. So each lobe, it is the pyramidal in shape. Here you can see it is a pyramidal in shape and present the following features. This is the apex of the thyroid glands. It is directed upwards towards the oblique line of the thyroid cartilage. So it is a apex which is towards the oblique line of the thyroid cartilage. Base, it is the extend on the fifth and sixth tracheal ring of the trachea. It has a three surface and two borders. Here you can see this is the surface. It is called the anteriorly and laterally surface. It is called the anterolateral surface. Here on the I will reflect. Here you can see this is a posterolateral surface. And if I will cut from the isthmus here over the trachea, my forceps which is lies on the medial surface of the thyroid gland. This is the medial surface. So three surface: anterolateral surface, posterolateral surface, and one surface on the just medially. It is called the medial surface. It has a two border. This is the anterior border. This is the anterior border of the thyroid gland. This is the anterior border, and here there is a posterior border of the thyroid glands. The anterior border which lies between the anterolateral surface and between the medial surface, and the posterior border which lies between the medial surface and the posterolateral surface of the thyroid gland. The length of the thyroid gland nearly 5 cm in length. It has a breadth nearly 3 cm in breadth, and thickness 2 cm, weight nearly 25 gram. The isthmus which is overlies the it is the connecting part of the two lobe of the thyroid gland, which is over the second, third and fourth tracheal ring, and join the two lateral lobe of the together. It is the 1.25 cm in length. It has a upper border and lower border. It is the anterior surface and the posterior surface. So this is about to the isthmus. Covering of the thyroid gland, it is invested by the innerly, it is invested by the true capsules, and it is formed by the condensation of the fibrous stroma of the gland, and outer it is a pulse capsule which is derived from the pretracheal fascia. The trace above the pretracheal fascia, after the covering to the glands, it is attached to the hyoid bone. Here at this level, this is a hyoid bone. So it midline, it is attached to the hyoid bone, and on the lateral side it is the oblique line of the thyroid cartilage. Here there is a oblique line of the thyroid cartilage. So and trace below the pretracheal fascia which is enter inside the thorax and blend with the apex of the fibrous pericardium. So false capsule, which is thickened to forms the ligament of Berry, which connect the medial surface of the thyroid gland. Here there is a medial surface of the thyroid gland, and also there is a cricoid cartilage. So here it makes the ligament of Berry. It is a part of the thickening of the pretracheal fascia, and this attachment it gives the, during the degglutinations, there is a thyroid moves up and down with the degglutation due to the pretracheal fascia, which is attached to the hyoid bone as well as the oblique line of the thyroid cartilage. So false capsule, which is the thin along the posterior border. Here there is a capsule which is very thin on the posterior border of the thyroid, lateral lobe of the thyroid, and so sometimes there is a thyroid tumor which is extend backward, compressing upon the adjacent structure and without the visible swelling inside the front sides. The space between the true and false capsule, it is occupied by the following structure, mainly the parathyroid gland. Here you can see this is the parathyroid gland. This is the parathyroid gland. This is the lower parathyroid gland, and here there is a very small, it is the upper parathyroid gland. These are the two glands, parathyroid gland, which is lies between the two layer and trunk of the blood vessels, but the venous plexus, which is always, you have to remember, it is deep to the true capsules. So therefore surgical resection, the gland remove with the true capsule. Always you have to remember, whenever thyroid remove, it is removed with the true capsules. The relations of the thyroid gland, the apex, this is the apex of the thyroid gland. Medially it is related with the inferior constrictor. This is the inferior constrictor muscles. So medially it is related with the inferior constrictor muscles. Laterally it is related with the sternothyroid muscles, and there is a superficially it is related with the superior thyroid artery. Here you can see this is a superior thyroid artery, and the branches of the superior thyroid artery, it is a relation on the superiorly, it is related with the superior thyroid artery, and deeply it is related with the external laryngeal nerve. Here you can see this is the internal laryngeal nerve, and here it continues downwards, and it gives the twin to the inferior constrictor and then internal laryngeal, which is continuous. So this is a external laryngeal nerve. So it gives the this is the superior laryngeal, and this superior laryngeal first it gives the internal laryngeal. It is along with the superior laryngeal artery, and it pierces to the thyroid membrane, and then the this is the external laryngeal, and twin from the external laryngeal gives to the inferior constrictor. This is the fiber given to the inferior constrictor, and then external laryngeal, which is pierced to the ear. It extends up to the cricothyroid muscles. So it extends up to the cricothyroid muscles. The base, this is the base of the inferior thyroid artery, and it is related with the this is the inferior thyroid artery, and also inferior thyroid vein, and along with it there is a recurrent laryngeal nerve. Base of the thyroid gland, which is related with the, here you can see this is a nerve, it is a recurrent laryngeal nerve, and it is enter inside the lower part of the at the junction of the trachea and larynx, and this is a artery, it is the inferior thyroid artery. So the base related with the inferior thyroid artery and recurrent laryngeal nerves. So apex is directed upwards. Apex is directed upwards and laterally. Here you can see this is the apex, it directed upwards and laterally towards the oblique line of the thyroid cartilage, and it is sandwiched between the inferior constrictor medially and sternothyroid muscles laterally. So thyroid enlargement cannot extend into the upper part because of the inferior constrictor muscles. Anterolateral surface related with the, here you can see this is the anterolateral surface which is related with the strap muscles, mainly sternum to hyoid, sternohyoid, superior biliomomoid, we can replate sternothyroid, so and sternocleidomastoid muscles, So these are the relation of the anterolateral surface. Medial surface which is deep and it is related with the here there is a medial surface, my forceps which is lies inside the medial surface, it is related with the trachea, this is the trachea, and on the posteriorly there is a esophagus, and on the upper side it is related with the inferior constrictor muscles, on the inferior constrictor, and here there is a one muscle, it is the cricothyroid muscles, and it is also related with the external laryngeal nerve. I will already show you that this is a internal laryngeal nerve, and this is another branch of the external. This is a external laryngeal, and this external laryngeal which is also related on the medial surface, and it is pierced to the cricothyroid muscles, and the recurrent laryngeal nerve here on the lower aspect we already see you. This is a recurrent laryngeal nerve on the medial surface, and cricoid and thyroid cartilage. Here this is a medially also cricoid and thyroid cartilage which is related. The posterolateral surface, I will show you the posterolateral surface. This is a posterolateral surface, and it is related with the carotid sheath, and it contains mainly the common carotid artery, and it contains common carotid artery, internal jugular vein, and vagus nerve. These are the relations. And on the posterior aspect of the common carotid, here you can see there is a sympathetic chain. This is a sympathetic chain which is lies. So these are the relations, and the anterior border, it is thin, and it is related with the anterior descending branch of the superior thyroid artery. Posterior border, which is there is a anastomosis between the, this is a anastomosis between the posterior branch of the superior thyroid artery, and there is a inferior thyroid artery, and also there is a presence of the parathyroid gland and lower part of the thoracic duct on the left side, not on the right side. Relations of the isthmus, this is the isthmus part of the thyroid gland. It is related anteriorly, it is related by the strap muscles. You have to remember, anteriorly it is related by the strap muscles. It has an anterior surface, strap muscle, mainly sternothyroid and sternohyoid, deep cervical fascia, and there is also this is the deep cervical fascia and anterior jugular vein, which is a continuation of the submental vein. The posterior surface of the isthmus, which is related with the second, third, and fourth tracheal rings. The upper border of the thyroid gland, which is the anastomosis of the superior thyroid branches, anterior division of the superior thyroid artery between the opposite side of the superior thyroid artery, and the lower border, which is the related with the lower border of the it is related with the isthmus. There is a lower border, it is related with the inferior thyroid vein. Here you can see this is the inferior thyroid vein which is goes on the up to the isthmus. So the isthmus superior border, it is related with the anterior branch of the superior thyroid artery, and below it is related with the inferior thyroid vein. So arterial supply of the thyroid gland by the superior thyroid artery, and from the lower side it is supplied by the inferior thyroid artery. This is the inferior thyroid artery, and this is the recurrent laryngeal nerve. So you have to remember the superior thyroid artery, which is divided into the anterior and posterior division. Posterior division, which is united with the inferior thyroid artery, and anterior branch, which is descend along the anterior border of the lobe and continues as the upper border of the isthmus, and anastomosis with the opposite side of the anterior branch. We already discussed the posterior branch, which is anastomosis with the inferior thyroid artery. The superior thyroid artery supplies to the upper 1/3 of the gland and half of the isthmus, and the inferior thyroid artery supplies the lower 2/3 part of the lateral lobe of the glands, which is supplied by the inferior thyroid artery, and half of the lower half of the isthmus, which is supplied by the inferior thyroid artery. So this is the blood supply. Always you have to remember there is a nerve supply. It is by the parasympathetic, by the vagus nerve, and sympathetic, which is supplied by the periarterial plexus of the nerves. These are derived from the postganglionic sympathetic fiber from the superior, middle, and inferior cervical ganglia, and they are vasomotor to the blood vessels and directly stimulate the thyroid hormone synthesis to much less degree than the TSH. Function of the thyroid gland, mainly it is the secretion of the T3 and T4 hormone, and the parathyroid, which is secreted, parathyroid mainly it is secreted the calcitonin. So it is the main function of the thyroid gland. And applied aspect, it is a goiter, it is the enlargement of the thyroid gland. It may be hyperthyroidism, or it may be due to the hypothyroidism. So enlargement of the thyroid gland, it is called the goiter, and it is commonly occur in India due to the iodine deficiency, and rarely can be due to the tumor. It is large, tend to push the backward process of pressing the side of the trachea and esophagus. It leads to there is a difficulty in breathing. It is called the dyspnea. Difficulty in swallowing, it is called the dysphagia, and dysphonia due to the compressions of the recurrent laryngeal nerve. It is the hoarseness of the voice, and compression of the sympathetic chain. Here I already told to you, okay, this is the sympathetic chain. This sympathetic chain, if it is compressed, then it lead to there is a Horner syndromes, and compression of the carotid sheath lead to the posterior displacements. So always you have to remember thyroid, during the thyroid tumor you have to ligate the, so always you have to remember during the thyroidectomy, removal of the thyroid gland, superior thyroid artery which is ligated near to the gland, because at that level there is a recurrent laryngeal nerve and superior thyroid artery which is away from the glands. And always you have to remember there is a inferior thyroid artery and recurrent laryngeal nerve near to the glands are nearer to the each other. So that's why always the inferior thyroid artery you have to ligate away from the gland. So the inferior thyroid artery to ligates away from the glands, while the superior thyroid artery ligated near to the glands to for the prevention of the external laryngeal nerve to damage on the upper side or near to the superior thyroid artery. And the inferior thyroid artery, we have to take the precaution of the recurrent laryngeal nerve. So this is a recurrent laryngeal nerve, so you have to inferior thyroid artery always ligate away from the thyroid gland. So this is about to the thyroid gland. Hope you enjoy the lecture of the thyroid glands, gross anatomy of the thyroid gland. Thank you very much. Thyroid gland, which is developmentally, it is developed from the endoderm of the floor of the pharynx. The endodermal cells dorsal to the tubercular impair between the first and second pharyngeal arch. So thyroid gland, which is arise from the endoderm of the floor of the pharynx, dorsal to the tubercular impair, and it is arise from the endoderm of the first and second pharyngeal arch, and it grows caudally to forms the diverticulum. It is called the thyroglossal duct. So this thyroglossal duct, which is goes beyond to the hard bones, and finally duct reach into the final position in front of the trachea, and it bifurcate and proliferation of the cell, and it gives the two lateral lobe of the thyroid gland, and the isthmus of the thyroid gland. Sometimes the thyroglossal duct then disappear, and sometimes it is not disappear, and then it is called the thyroglossal cyst. So the follicular cells, which is derived from the proliferation of the cells from the thyroglossal duct, but the parafollicular cells or C cells derived from the ultimobranchial body of the caudal pharyngeal complex. So the thyroid gland, which begins the function during the fetal life, normally it is the 3rd to 4th month, and it follicular cell secretes the thyroxine and triiodothyronine, where the parafollicular cells which secretes the calcitonin. Thyroglossal cyst or fistula due to the position of the fragment of the thyroglossal duct. Sometimes the thyroid gland will be retained inside the tongue. It is called the lingual thyroid. Sometimes there is a thyroid gland which is deviated from the normal course, and it is called the ectopic. It lies inside the maybe into the posterior triangle or into the retrosternal region, and sometimes there is a accessory thyroid gland. So thank you very much.